All right. Welcome to InkRadio Podcast, guys. Sorry for the delays. We're back again after a 4-month hiatus. We're ready to serve you about Splatoon 2 and talk to you about the game. So to my right, I have Kendall over here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Kendall.
Well, if you didn't hear before, my name is Kendall. I also go by Negus. I'm part of Ink Delta. Also, I run Long Island Splat, and I've done TOing for SS. So, yeah, it's a little about me. Yeah.
Now we cannot hear Spoon or anyone. So hold on, I'm gonna write everything down.
Write down your whole answer and hold it up to the...
down.
Yeah, just... Oh, sad. Oh, I have a pen. Here we go.
There we go.
Write down your whole answer and hold it up
Hear everyone.
Yeah,
Wait, no, they say they hear everyone.
Oh, sad.
The dark...
Oh, I have a pen.
Somebody
Oh,
ban... hold
good.
on. Am I a mod on this channel? Am I a mod
Wait,
on
no,
this
they
channel?
hear
Can I
everyone.
ban the dark mesh?
Do it.
Okay, we're good.
Oh, I
Anyway,
can time them out!
Do it. Sniped.
all right, so let's do this one last time, and then we can finally go into it, okay? All right, so who are you, Kendall, again?
Name's Kendall. I go by Negus. I play on Ink Delta. I run Long Island Splat with a couple of other people, and I also am a Splatoon TO. I did for Long Island Splat, and again, I was also helped out with SS, Squidstorm.
Awesome. And just below him, we have Bob the Hobo is Cool. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Bob the Hobo's Cool. Most people call me Bob for short, because why would you want to say that whole thing every single time? And I co-captain SKR, or Spicy Kraken Rules, alongside Flare Blitz. And I also run a tournament called Young Ink, which is for new or young teams that are trying to get into the competitive scene and need a place to start.
Awesome. And then we have the last guy who doesn't really need an introduction, but we're going to give him one anyways. It's 9-Hole Grains.
Hey everybody, 9-Hole Grains, also go by 9 for short. I commentate Splatoon tournaments, try to get as many as I can. I also TO and help run Paint Louis, which is St. Louis's local Splatoon LAN scene. So, it's good to be here.
Awesome. So first thing we're going to talk about today, we seem to have been a little bit late, but we want to kind of get into it now, is we all attended Squid Storm, all 4 of us.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to kind of go over our personal experiences of the event, how it was, and just overall matches. So I want to kind of get into more of the personal stuff. I know me and Kendall kind of hung out a lot at Squid Storm. I made mortal enemies with Bob in particular throughout all of Squid Storm. And me and Nine, we casted together. So I think we've all kind of hung out with each other around Squid Storm a lot. So I think it's kind of cool to get everyone's experiences.
Yeah, sounds good. So, Kendall, I gotta know, you made it really far into the tournament, and I know that you all weren't planning on making it that far into the tournament, so I'm really interested in hearing, like, what went into that, how you guys kept your mental game all together.
Mental game. So, if you know Sammy, you know that Sammy is all about being a strategic person, and that he wants to make sure that we're in peak performance, that, like, even when we were on set, that we had the Gatorade on the side ready to keep us going. So we didn't practice at all before we came into this, like literally at all. I think we met Dragonudo that day. And honestly, we thought we were going to lose in groups. We just came there to have fun. And literally Sammy was like, yo, if I make it out of groups, I'm going to kill you guys. Like he was like, there's no reason why we should make it out of group. So the first day we kept playing, and then literally we were just like, yo, this is actually happening. So like one thing after another, like it was just fun, like even just like meeting them the first time. Dragonudo was just a chill dude, obviously. Mm-hmm. But everybody else was just like, yo, we make it out of groups. Like Sammy was like, yo, I just want to drink. That's all I want to do. I just want to drink. And if you guys don't allow me to drink through the next day, I'm going to kill you guys. But lo and behold, we actually were able to put something together and actually like tie for 9th. So, I mean, it was a good run. I had a good experience with doing it and everything. So yeah.
I actually have a good story about Negus and Kendall and me. Actually, I was rooming with Sammy, who's his teammate, and I was rooming with BSME as well, who's also your teammate. Apparently, I was rooming with your entire team, except I wasn't on the team. I was on Nine's team, just below me. And I have to say, the first time I ever met Kendall, I thought he was mugging me. So
yeah, I said it's probably like 90% of the event thought I was going to do that. So it's all good. I'm like 6'2", 230 pounds.
It's just how it happened. We all went to In-N-Out. We went like out of Boston to kind of go to In-N-Out. Shake Shout. Oh my God, Sammy's going to murder me if I mention that. So yeah, we went to Shake Shack and we started all ordering. And Kendall calls up Sammy and's like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna come. You know, I just came up from New York. I'm gonna come by. I'll have some Shake Shack with you guys, right?" And we don't expect him anywhere. We're outside, like eating some food, and we just see some guy walk up to us. Doesn't kind of say hi, just kind of slowly walks towards us. And you see like me and B just sitting there, like, "Oh my God, we're gonna die right now."
I think I had my hoodie on too.
Yeah, you like get your hoodie on, like cargo pants. And you're just like, "Yo, what up?" And we're like, "Oh, it's Kendall. Okay, we're fine." Oh man. But yeah, that was a good event. Actually, we played as Canadian Grains, which was you, so 9 whole grains, me, Hunty, and Yoko. So 2 people from Canada, 2 people from USA. It was supposed to be an all-Canadian team. But it was awesome. I thought we put up really, really good fights against some top teams that we didn't think we would do well against. Like, who was it? Deep Blues, we did 3-2. We faced Spicy Kraken Assassins against Bob's team. And we should have won, but we failed at one point with a tower push. No thanks to Bob, though.
Bruh.
On that note, I'll talk a little bit about my experience. So you can sum up my experience playing on Canadian Grains in 5 words, which is, you've been splatted by Day. So Day, I know you're in the chat right now. I have never loved and hated a person so much. Our last match, for those of you who didn't see it, was on Moray Towers, and it was tower control. And as soon as that happened, as soon as we saw that, I kind of knew in the back of my head, this isn't going to end well for us. And I think Day got like 7 kills, and the next highest on his team was 3 or something. To which I yelled, "Nerf Day," right after that game. But no, Canadian Grains, we had a lot of fun, really good sets against SRL. We played really well against Legacy. I was really impressed with how we played against them. And to think that we were one way a win for making it into bracket, we shouldn't have been, but, you know, that's just the kind of game that it is.
I mean, I think in general, we just did really well. We went 3-2 against a lot of teams that we should have never have gone 3-2 against, to be completely fair. We're like a team of people who barely play. I know, Nine, you're busy all the time and you're casting, or I'm organizing events. Like, I don't play a ton.
Right, yeah. I've been in 2 tournaments since March, and that was Smash and Splash 3 and Squidstorm 2017. So the fact that we did so well was really encouraging, and it kind of made me want to start competing again. I don't know, though. That's a little ways.
Bob, how about you? I know that you have the classic pop-off squad there, yelling all the time, to the point where you almost got kicked out of the venue, I think.
So we had 6 of our 7 team members there. So we ended up having to do 1 full team that was Spicy Kraken Rolls, and then the second team we called Spicy Kraken Assassins because we had 2 members, Minato and Jazzy Jazz, who had originally been on Assassination. So we just kind of built it out of that. We got several warnings because we were so loud with our pop-offs and with our call-outs. That we almost got kicked out of the venue. Specifically, I think Ace got like straight up told, he was like, "Look, we're gonna have to do something about this if you don't like chill out." But it was an absolute blast, being able to spend time with my team, and really just coming together. We all stayed in an Airbnb together. It was ridiculous in there. We played Mario Party and hated each other for a little while. It made us stronger in the end, I think, but you know.
I was actually the first person in your Airbnb before you were.
That's true. You wouldn't pick us up. You just let us walk there with our freaking bags.
So I remember I drove with Minato because we're both from Montreal, and he's on Spicy Kraken Assassins, and I dropped him off his Airbnb, and I walked in, and we're like, "Hey Bob, I'm at your place. You're not here yet, though. Okay, bye."
Sure.
But yeah, it was really cool. It was a great event. I loved every moment of it. I know that me and Nine both casted at the very beginning. Some technical difficulties, but I think we did really well. In the end, we got the best match casted after we got all our nerves and everything kind of settled on that. So I was pretty happy with that overall as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The team that had all four SKR members on it, which was Bruce, Squiddo, Bread, and Ace, it was one of my favorite moments of the entire thing. And it was in Group A, but it was when they faced Set to Destroy X, and they came so close to actually taking that set off of them, and I was like standing there like about to rip all of my hair out of my skull. I was so like just so pumped about it. It went 3-2 and it was so close.
Yeah, I remember just hearing the screams. Like, I was watching the stream. No, we were casting it, right, Nine? We were casting a game.
No, we weren't casting their set, if that's what you mean.
No,
we were in the middle of the cast, and they kept handing us notes to tell us what was going on in that other set. And I remember looking over at Spoon and being like, yo, why are they handing us these notes? If SKR wins, we will know. The whole venue will know if SKR wins.
I mean, it was up like 2-0, and you heard SKR like, "Yo, boys, yo, boys!" Like, just going mental.
Let's go.
But yeah, it was really hype. Actually, another moment is Kendall, as we showed already on stream, but you popping off. Kendall, you got really passionate.
Yo, that joint was wild. I think that was against Paramoons, and we were on Snapper Canal, and literally we were actually able to come back on Splat Zones. Actually, I was about to lose it. Like, that was probably the calmest pop off I've ever done. I honestly was ready to run around the venue, but sadly we couldn't come out with a win for the last, because we went to game 5 on it. But that was one of my favorite moments. Honestly, like, if you like just seeing Sammy's face on it when the pop off actually happened, like actually being able to see it was crazy, because that was probably one of my moments. And if I didn't drop the ball on game 5 on Kelp Dome, we might have actually been able to win. So, but I lost 2 Rainmaker matches, so it's all right.
All right. Well, before we get into the actual like matches themselves, other than that, like outside of the event, was there anything that you had a really good time with? Like, was there a moment that you really enjoyed, or were there like people that you loved hanging out with? I mean, like I said, I know that we all kind of hung out together and did our own thing, but like I loved hanging out with you guys, like all of you that are on the cast right now is why I got you guys on today. But like hanging out in Hitzel's Airbnb with like 18 people, hanging out with our team, Hunty and Yoko, and going to like Japanese food, like all that stuff outside of the event was just as cool as in the event. So,
right. I think obviously I said that I got to stay in an Airbnb with my entire team, so that was the 6 of us, and then we also had Minato with us as well, and that was just a ridiculous fest in itself. Just being able to really like come back from the event, all sit down together and just have some like quality team time was some of my favorite stuff. Even the walks there and back to the event were a ton of fun. I guess the only thing that I would have liked to been able to do, and I think a lot of people had the regret, was not talking to a whole lot of others. Like, I got to talk to a good amount of people, but there were a lot of people I still wanted to meet, and I still didn't really get a chance to talk to them a whole lot. But yeah, it was still an amazing time being able to spend that with them.
Yeah, I'll second that. Hanging out with SKR is a lot of fun. That Mario Party match, which the most... Can we cuss on this stream?
Yes, yeah, you're fine.
Bullshit.
You won! I don't even want to hear it.
Yeah, I would have won by more, but you all ganged up on me.
We ganged up on you because you picked on me first. Listen, there.
whatever. That was a lot of fun. I actually got to speak to a lot of people that I wanted to. I know I wanted to hang out with Sedu, and we got to hang out a lot. I wanted to talk to Copilot more, Dragonudo, a lot of people that I talked with online, but not as much in person. There's getting to be a crowd that goes to pretty much every LAN, or at least most of the LANs, so I didn't hang out with them as much, but I was really happy with the amount of discussions I got to have and just trying to meet new people, so that wasn't as big a regret for me. I'd say my biggest regret was probably not playing the game as much as I would have wanted. I know that a lot of people were playing friendlies in the background, but because I went around to talk as much, I didn't get to enjoy the Splatoon aspect of the Splatoon LAN as much as I had. And I know at Smash and Splash 3, I mean, people were playing that game 24/7. Like, you could have gone back to the room at 2 a.m. and people still would have been playing. So I guess maybe just actually playing more video games, which is weird because it's a LAN to go hang out, but I would have liked to play just a little bit more Splatoon when I have that like level of good competition there. So I'd say that would be my one thing that I would have done a little differently, maybe watched a little bit less and played a little bit more.
For me, honestly, like coming into this, I had ran the Long Island Splat and obviously Long Island, and I was excited to like actually see like what a major LAN would be like because I never had an opportunity to go to any of them. Like SNS, I had to go to a wedding, unfortunately. And the biggest thing for me when I was coming into this was I finally get to meet Sammy after like 2.5 years of like playing with him online, stuff like that. So the biggest thing for me was actually like meeting one of my closest friends that I actually got to play with. I've been playing with since the beginning. And like once I got there, it was just like the same person that just yells and screams on my headsets and breaks his TV at the same time. So like honestly, that was like one of the key points for me in the whole entire time. Honestly, I got to meet as many people like as I wanted to. Just seeing certain people, like again, Hunty, who I've played with before, Setu, Opie, everybody else that's in like the Team Be Your server. I'm not going to be able to remember them all, but just in general, like meeting people in the Airbnbs. Obviously, like Hitzel's comes to mind, and just seeing like everybody come through there, and it was like cool just meeting people. Also getting an opportunity to TO, which was like a gift and a curse at the same time because it was fun helping to run things that were going on, but I kind of missed the event between I think it was Hitzel and DJ's team. So I missed the whole thing. My back was turned to it while that set was going on, and then I watched it later. So that's my only regret, but everything else was amazing. Like I can't wait to go to the next one.
All right, so just to kind of wrap up a little bit on Squidstorm, is anyone have just some quick highlights of what everyone should go watch if you haven't already seen Squidstorm? Like what matches or any highlight of a match that you should watch that really embodies what Squidstorm is?
I think the bronze bracket finals was absolutely ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was crazy how close that was.
It was Frank's. I found it out. It's Frank's Hot Dogs versus Squid Life Crisis. Those were the two.
Wait, wasn't that the one where the guy ran the Rainmaker backwards?
Yeah, yes, it was actually.
He's going the wrong way.
Vesper killed that call. That was amazing.
I would have to say probably like the biggest highlight. You can say it was bad play. You could say it was great play. However you want to present it. But I think Unsung Heroes versus No Fear was probably one of the best matches to watch live. Like, I can understand why people don't think it was the most hyped thing in the world. I mean, a lot of people did, but at the event, just like the crowd getting so into it, like 200 people cheering whenever the Rainmaker goes one way or the other is just like an unbelievable feeling that I feel like you had to be at that event to really understand like the grasp. It's game 5, it's the final match, one team goes through, one team doesn't. Like, you know all these people because you've been hanging out with them. And it's like down to the wire, and you love both of those guys, and they're all friends, like all 8 of them. So like it's more personal, you know. I don't know, like when you understand the players and the team and just how much that means to all 8 of those players, I think it's like crazy.
For me, honestly, actually, like as I said, I got an opportunity. Sorry, I got an opportunity to like TO. I forgot what it was, the late at night bracket. I don't remember what it was exactly. But I was during like when Overdrive was actually like going through their groups, and then I was like looking, and I was like, all right, they're playing now. All right, cool. Wait, Overdrive, they beat Blackberry Sorbet or whatever. I was like, wait, really? And then I was like, all right, I'm looking at all the teams that they beat, and the thing is, they were all close sets. Like it was like 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, and I was just like, all right, I want to go to sleep now. Like let's get this over. And it was kind of amazing watching like what was transpiring about like with like Overdrive actually like making like a crazy like run that probably nobody thought they were going to be able to do with making it into bracket. So like actually that for me, that's one of the things that was actually kind of crazy is like obviously a team of people that like people know who they some of them are, but not everybody. But getting to watch them, I like enjoy it and like actually get an opportunity for people to see how good they were. So that for me,
like in they were in our group, and we were really shocked by it because like the main team that we were worried about because we were seated third in our group, which was I was playing on Spicy Kraken Assassins. And the main team that we were worried about was disbanding after Boston, which is the team that Opie and all them were on. And we ended up getting like a reverse sweep on them. So we were like, yo, sweet. Yeah, we can do this. And just Overdrive was just like, hey, by the way, we're like on fire today. So
no, they were killing it.
Forget you guys going to bracket. Like, it was like, okay.
Yeah. I would say 2 sets, since you guys have mentioned all the big ones, 2 sets that I think people should watch if they want to see like really good Splatoon. Blackberry Sorbet versus Paramoons. Mm-hmm. That was a really good set just because it was 2-1 in favor of Blackberry Sorbet, and then Paramoons just totally switched up their gameplay. Spectre switched weapons. She switched over to NZAP, and suddenly they just started to roll over there, and that was like a great example of adapting and changing your thing to meet your opponent, because that was the only time she went NZAP. She switched back to the longer range stuff, so that was a good set. And then right after that, Komodo versus Paramoons. I won't mention STDX versus anybody on that day because that was all just ugly. But it was good. But I'll say Komodo versus Paramoons was a very, very entertaining set. So those are good.
Actually, I would say if you really want to watch just like clean execution of how the game's played, just watch the STDX Komodo Grand Finals. Like, you watch all these super close matches, and then you get to the Grand Finals, it's just a straight 4-0, super clean games. Like, they just destroyed. Like, and that's not to say that Komodo's bad. Komodo is like really good at that event. It's just STDX is so clean. Their teamwork's like unparalleled, at least in terms of like a LAN event. But it'll be interesting to see at Genesis. But yeah, I think that'll wrap up Squidstorm for now. I think we got our thoughts out. We kind of felt each other and got a good idea of how we feel about the event. So everyone wants to go to the next ones, I'm assuming. If we can, I think we'd all want to go to Genesis.
Yeah, Bob made his tweet today that he was going to it, right?
It was a couple days ago, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so with that, we're going to get into the actual Splatoon discussion about the new patch that just came out. I know everyone's been wanting to hear about it, been wanting to hear what people think about the new patch. We've had a couple of days to play with it. Nine, I know I've seen you in solo queue beat me like 4 times in a row and made me rage, but it's all good. So let's just get right into it. So we had the patch come out. There were a lot of aesthetic updates, and then there was actual balance changes. We're going to separate into 2 portions. One's going to be more the aesthetic, the maps, the gameplay, not the gameplay, the quality of life changes, and then we're going to go right into the balance patch. So we'll start off with the first portion of this. Sorry about that. Here's my voice is cutting out here. So we got some new gear, old and new. We got 150 pieces of gear, guys. We got like a sporty bobble hat. We got some of the old shoes back. We got some new gear. What is everyone excited about? Are you excited? Do you even give a shit about gear? Let's hear your thoughts.
Well, Nine, you already know that Ace is excited about that sporty bobble hat.
I knew the second I saw it. I actually heard him yell all the way from Baltimore. He yelled so loud that I heard it in St. Louis.
Sporty bobble?
He was on the hunt for that thing.
Oh no, I'm so excited, dude. Sporty bobble was my favorite gear in Splatoon 1. It's the best toque in the game, man.
Well, if you see Ace ever at a LAN, every single time he's at a LAN, he's wearing that sporty bobble hat. Like, he actually has one.
Yeah, I do too, man. It's right over here.
Yeah. So, like, the fact that it wasn't in the game, like that was the only thing he wanted in the game. Even before I think even before the '96 deco, like he don't even care about that anymore. He just wants he just wants the sporty bobble hat, and he finally got it. I think a lot of the gear looks really cool. It's a shame some of it has like favors and gear that are like abilities that maybe we don't really want, but you got drinks for that. In the chunks.
And you have Annie to give you the other main ability on the off chance that it comes out. But yeah, anyone have a personal favorite gear that's come out so far? Anyone like the Yeezys, you know what I'm saying? All those Yeezys, the colorful ones.
I have no attachment to any of the gear. I just want to play the game. That's it. I could care less. Like, I'll wear whatever. Honestly.
I'm going to be completely honest. I'm totally a clothes whore. Like, I love looking fresh, man. Like, it's to the point where it's like, if you're wearing something really ugly in solo, I actually judge you as a player. I'm like, man, you're wearing power armor. You clearly have no good decision-making choices in this game. So why do I want you on my team? That's how I feel. I'm sticking to it.
Full power armor with the hero splatling. You just straight chrome, nothing else.
Straight chrome.
But yeah, man, I look fresh. I always wear my grape hoodie. I wear a nice toque, like the snowboard one. Looks dope. I got some what's it called? Those Converse on. I gotta look really dope all the time, man. It's important to look fresh in this game to keep up appearance of how pro you are.
It takes too much work.
Day does that in real life, so.
I was gonna say Day is on another level, both in and out of game. So shout outs to Day. There is one piece of clothing that I was excited to see come back. And the only reason is because it's the first, when I was getting serious about Splatoon, it was the first hat that I wore. And that was the jungle hat. I don't know if y'all remember that in Splatoon 1. It had Inksaber main with Inksaber sub as its sub. And that was back when I thought both of those abilities were great. That was the first, not a pure, but that was the first, 3 sub 1 main thing that I got, that I rolled. And that was the hat that I wore forever. And of course, I never put it on again after we got splat hacks and whatnot. But I'll never forget that hat. And when I saw that it was coming back, I got not excited, but I was just like, it's like you see an old friend after years. And you both gone your separate ways, but it's good to give them a hug and then go on about your day. So
yeah,
that's cool.
I'm so excited to have a petition to ban that gear again.
No, you need to ban the freaking sandals with socks first before you do that. Yeah, Nine wears them in real life. We don't want to deal with it in game too.
And that was to be the dorky dad, and it worked.
So
you knew you liked it.
Moving on from clothing, because I guess everyone has their opinions, and it appears that we don't have someone who cares about clothing so much.
No, I don't. In real life, I do. Like, if you see me dressed in real life, I care about clothing. In game, no.
I try to recreate what I like to wear in real life in the game, like grape hoodies, some Converse, and a toque. Man, that's some winter apparel for Canada. That's everyday life,
There's definitely some gear that I see it and I'm like, all right, that looks pretty cool, but I don't have enough chunks to actually make it wearable.
I mean, that's the ultimate goal of Splatoon, is to be fresh and have good gear, both at the same time. That's the ultimate goal of Splatoon, even beyond being the best team in the world competitive. If you have fresh gear, man, you made it. Sponsor me, Cloud9.
Yeah, you hate all my gear. I promise you that.
Anyways, moving on to the next part of the game is maps. We had Mako Mart released, but we also have 3 additional maps and a Salmon Run map coming out. Well, actually, the Salmon Run map is already out. But I know that you guys all got to play Mako Mart. I think I even played 9 on Mako Mart, if I'm not mistaken. So,
yeah, we did.
What are you guys' thoughts on the map so far?
Personally, Go ahead, Nine.
Go ahead, Kendall.
Oh, okay. No, personally, I actually I like it. I didn't get to play it until Sunday because of Thanksgiving, but it's a little bit more open. It's not as choked as everything else, in my opinion. But it kind of gives long range a little better feel, in my opinion. And I feel like there's it's just a little bit more open in my opinion. I only got to play it on tower control, but I like it personally. That's all I can really say about it.
Yeah, I think you touched on a good thing. That finally, like, it benefits. It has a good benefit to long range weapons, which I think was kind of needed, since the game's heavily based around aggression and that short range, getting in your face kind of thing.
Yeah,
I'm just glad that there's another like longer map. We have so many short maps that are prominent and very compressed, which isn't a bad thing. It's just we have a lot of them, and especially at the early part of the game, they were dominant. I mean, you would see Starfish Main Stage and Humpback Pump Track twice every 5-game set. So to get another long, narrow map is really cool, but it's not so narrow that you can get boxed in like on Port. So it's good to see that. It's good that it's got routes, and anytime there's a chance for some real Rainmaker Bull, I am thumbs up. So I like Mako Mark a lot.
Yeah, I'm going to side with you on the Rainmaker part. I feel like it's one of the more open maps with a lot of different routes that you can take. Down from the middle, you can take that secret route where, like, you pop that, like the string line thing and send it over on the right. You can go on the far left side as well. Like, it's very open to dunk wherever you feel is open. And I found like some really unique ways. The one thing I will say though is that I feel like people don't fully grasp the map just yet, because I found it really easy to flank people almost all the time in that map. Take the Brella, just go around, you get a triple and you're done.
That's easy.
Yeah, people still need to understand the map, but I do agree it's pretty open in the middle. Splat zones in particular is kind of like just a death zone, man. Like, the kills that you get on that map are crazy. Like, I played with Yoko, and we were getting like 30 kills each with assists, like on that splat zones. Like, it's just so close together on the map that you just constantly have like firefights nonstop.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. How about that Walleye Warehouse though?
I like Walleye.
Yeah.
So with Walleye, I definitely agree that it's a good map. Everyone enjoyed it from the first game, and I'd say definite majority is super happy that it's back. I do hope that it got changed at least a little bit. I'd like it to be at least a little bit wider that way, because I feel like it was really narrow, and that gave it if you got choked out in it and they got set up, it was really, really difficult to get back in. You just kind of had to hope that you got to pick on someone.
I'd argue that it's even more punishing now if you were to keep everything the same, because now that you have the Brellas, you could just hold R, have that Brella push up that left ramp with the Rainmaker, and you'll easily get it to like 30 no problem. Like,
especially with the 10 Brella.
Yeah, I just feel like there's so much abuse that could go on with that. So I feel like they have to think it through now that they have new weapons added into the game.
Yeah,
they most likely will. Every single map has, has been touched. So I mean, I don't think they're just going to leave it exactly the same. So,
all right.
But yeah,
something's happening. He's getting Kendall's getting mugged currently.
The one that I'm really interested to see though is I want to see what changes they make to Arowana Mall, because that's coming back, and that was the one that people were just like, really, you brought this one back? So I hope that they changed it up a little bit, because splat zones on Arowana Mall might have been my least favorite thing in Splatoon 1. I just hated how easy it was to get boxed out, how it was so easy to find out where people were going through, put a wall up enclosed, and they just never leave. I had a lot of problems with that map, so I hope it's changed.
It looked like there was some change to it, but in the screenshots of Walleye, that was the only one that it didn't look like there was a whole lot changed about it, just from the pictures, but maybe it's...
I mean, from what I saw, it looked like they expanded on, at least in Arowana, like that top left plat, where like Hydra and like charges used to just sit. It looks like they fixed that to me, that way more vulnerable. Like, I feel like longer range weapons are probably going to be a lot more at a disadvantage. I don't know if that's a good thing though for Splatoon 2, but yeah.
I also think with having Stingray, I think closed isn't going to be as much of an issue, especially if you get locked in there, just because Stingray.
Yeah. And then I guess we covered the two old maps. I guess they're just the old maps. A bit of rediction. Like, we all kind of know what they are. But what about Schellendorf? The new map there that's like kind of a museum with the dinosaur bones.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone get to look more in depth at it, or just what do you kind of think after your first look at it?
I saw, like, it was kind of difficult to see it because a lot of it was shown off kind of in like quick shots, and you didn't really get a good look at the map in its entirety, I don't think. But I didn't really look at the screenshots all that deeply. But it just it looks really cool. I like the aesthetic of it for sure. I hope it's kind of similar to, well, I hope it's a different map, but I hope it's kind of similar to Mako Mart, where it kind of has benefits for both long range and short range weapons.
Honestly, anything that will put Moray at the bottom of the barrel. So as long as like they keep adding maps,
I agree.
That will push Moray out.
Okay, while we're on this topic, Moray needs to go, man. Like, it is in rotation all the time. Whenever I'm playing, Moray Towers is always in rotation at some point, and I literally just turn off my game and I'm like, I'm done. Like, it is an instant like, oh man, I really want to play Splatoon, and then I go, no, I never want to play Splatoon again because Moray Towers is in rotation.
Yep.
When I saw that in the first, like, the opening, trailer, I was just like, of all maps, and then it's like crowd favorite, or fan favorite Moray is back, and I'm just like, who?
Yeah.
Well, I was
Whose
a
fan
sniper.
favorite is it?
I was a sniper main back in Splatoon 1, so I mean, honestly, I liked Moray back then, but now since I had like my whole troubles of trying to use snipers in this game, it can go. It can burn. It can never come
Listen,
back.
I was a Charger
I
main
wanna be
too,
upset.
and I hated it even in Splatoon 1. So now it's in
that's the
Splatoon
mecca
2,
for
I just hate it
Chargers.
more, man. It sucks. It's a sucky map. You can't do anything. You just sit in mid for like 5 minutes until someone finally gets a wipe, and then you can move up. It's a dumb map, man.
Now your team just sits back the whole entire time.
Well,
Majority
in
of people don't
solo,
even-
I mean, I'm sure in
Yeah.
like team pushes it makes more sense. There's coordinated, but like in solo, man, it fucking sucks, dude. Like, that's just the best way to describe it. Like, it makes me angry talking about it. Talking about Moray Towers makes me angry. Anyways,
Let's change topics. Then.
I digress.
Entire
s-
podcast is screen raging.
Yo, I could go on for 2 hours about how Moray sucks.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm telling you to move on.
So
Don't get this man started.
we have new weapons, guys. First one to release was the Hydra. I don't know if anyone played with it. I played against it a lot because everyone is super excited. We've had the memes for get the Hydra back for like a million years. So what does everyone think about the Hydra?
I think it's a fun kit. I think it was FLC who made that big blog post about how long range weapons needed. I know some other people chimed in too. Needed something like Splashdown or Baller to make up for the fact that once they got closed in on, they could be taken down pretty easily. Kind of like how in Splatoon 1, E-Leader had Kraken. So I'm okay with that. It's got auto bombs, right?
Yeah.
That's
Auto
what I
bomb
thought.
and
It's got auto
Splashdown.
bombs. Just harassment, move things around a little bit. I don't know. I think it's a pretty fun kit for it. I know a lot of people wanted Stingray or something like that, but that's just like the less Stingrays in this game, the better the game gets, in my opinion.
Honestly, I'm happy to see it back. I'm just happy to see more, like, obviously long range options at this point. Besides that, I mean, I'm never going to touch it unless my team needs me to use it, but I'm never going to touch it. So yeah,
Go ahead.
no, you can go ahead. I'm done.
I was gonna say, Squiddo from our team used to play it in Splatoon 1, and she describes it now as a sniper that can paint, which is kind of fair because like you've got the distance, the range of it, and you can play a lot more safely with it. But I think in team coordination, it will be a good weapon, but in solo and things like that, if you get flanked, you're kind of SOL.
Yeah, I found it so far in solo. I've had a harder time against normal Splatlanes than I have against Hydras.
Yeah.
I that might just be a testament. I feel like the weapons are, it's because of the new maps and how the maps in Splatoon 2 are made. I feel like Hydra doesn't benefit to it. Like the range of those maps, I feel like a heavy Splatling does just as good, but it's easier to recover on the wind up. which makes heavy a bit better. But I think it's a pretty good kit, like you said before. I think it's safe with the splashdown. I know that some pro players were saying like, "Oh, the splashdown, it doesn't have burst bomb, so it's weaker." And it's like, man, like it backs someone up when you're really close in their face. And I've seen some interesting stuff where someone's jumped in with a splatling to use splashdown and then run back out to start shooting again. So it seems pretty fun. I think it's pretty good. Like you said, it'll work in teams, but I think on its own, you need a team behind it. You need some front range weapons in front of it. So with that note, we'll get on to the newer weapons. The Glugas were shown off. We didn't really see much of how it's done. Only information we have is that when you roll, it shoots and does more damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So from what I saw in the video, it was a 2-shot when you roll, which is basically an accurate 52.
But
so,
but like how far? Like we don't know the range, right? But
that's true. I mean, they kind of gave you an idea of it, but yeah. So yeah, we don't really know the range. I'd assume it's right around 52 range, maybe a little bit longer. I couldn't really tell that, but.
No. Anyone excited for him?
I'm actually worried. Like, if it ends up being that 2-shot and it has the kind of range and accuracy we're talking about, like, I don't know. I think the 52 is really good already. And if there's a rolling, like, I'm worried about it in theory. I don't think it's going to be crazy amazing, but just like if it is a 2-shot kill after roll, if it's a decently quick roll with like range that can compete with the 52 and splatter shot, I don't know. There might be something there. We'll just have to see. I mean, I'm all for more short-range options because right now it's like, what? One of the splatter shots, NZAP / splatter shot junior, and then every once in a while you'll see a 52 or a sploosh or something like that. Mm-hmm. So the more short-range weapons like options we get, I'm usually for. So we'll see. We'll see.
And I guess we'll go right into it. I don't think I'll ever play the Glugas, to be honest. I think they're cool, but I don't think I'll touch them. But the next weapon I think I'll touch a lot is the Squeezer. I'm gonna squeeze some kills out, man.
Oh my god.
So I'm trying to figure out like what it means by the first shot is stronger. Like, do you have to have a full ink tank, or like, how is it going to determine?
I think I'm not entirely sure. I think how it'll work is like there is the first shot of a burst, and then maybe if you wait like half a second, I think it's meant so that you pace your shots. You know what I mean? Like you are the one pacing your own shots, and if you're the one who's manually doing it as opposed to an auto rate fire, it'll do more damage. That's the way I interpreted it.
So maybe it operates somewhat like how with the Brella, if you shoot and hold, it pulls out the Brella.
Exactly.
Maybe it like takes it as that first click as the first shot, and then if you hold to maintain fire, it goes to a weaker shot.
Yeah, maybe I think that's how it is. So the intention is kind of works in a similar fashion. I think I think the way in my head is like it's a more accurate L3. It's more kill potential than like an L3 and an H3, but it's less paint.
Okay.
That's how I think it's going to be, is like if someone has a little bit of ink on them, like 98%, you can like one-shot that. Like that cork goes flying in your head and you're dead, right? But like if they're at 100% health, then you need to do a full shot plus one extra, and that's why you would hold down the R trigger. And I think it doesn't paint well, but it's really good at killing. At least that's what I think.
That's interesting.
Like, think of it as like a really close range type sniper, or like you're an assassin, you know?
Yeah. I think I just need to see more of it, honestly, for me personally. Like, that's really it. Like, I just want to, I can't really speculate on it only until like I actually get to like see more on it. That's really it for me.
We saw it shoot straight once, and then we saw them just shooting in the air a bunch, and it was just like,
yeah,
okay,
cool.
And I guess the last weapon is the Sorella Brella.
A Brella that can keep its shield
out
while it's shooting.
Hold on. I'm gonna clarify. I think it's gonna suck.
Without glitching.
It's too good. Like in theory, it's too good that Nintendo knows, and it's gonna be nerfed to the ground right away. Like I bet you that rate of fire is terrible. Like, I feel like people who use the Splatbrella will understand when to shoot and when not to shoot better than someone who can just auto fire it. I feel like it's like Babby's first Brella is what it's gonna be.
Can we talk about how the promotional like image of that thing is with a guy who looks exactly like Elton John and everyone else from the Kingsman movies? I swear they saw that movie and then made that Brella afterwards and then promoted it with that. Look it up. It's like it's got the new hairstyle, the banged hairstyle on the guy. It's got the glasses on with a suit, and I swear they know it. They know that that's a spy Brella.
Honestly, I just want to know how much damage it can take. That's really it. I mean, obviously it's not going to be a lot, but or like what will be able to just shred through it. Obviously.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited for it. Like, I play Brellas and I play nozzles mainly, so I'm pretty excited to try it out. But I'm still skeptical about it. I think that rate of fire is gonna suck, or it's gonna take like 3 shots to kill, or the Brella will like die in like 8 shots or something. It's not gonna be sustainable.
It'll probably be a 3-shot and maybe shorter range than the regular Brella.
Yeah. All right, and now that we kind of got that going, one last map that we're going to go into before we get into the new mode, which I think everyone's the most excited about. Did everyone play the Salmon Run map?
I haven't played it just yet, but I was watching some people play it, and it looks like it's a lot of fun to troll people with that fan.
I'm in the same boat. I haven't played it yet, but I think it's fun, and I like that each Salmon Run map does something different than the one before it. One of my big complaints with Splatoon 1 was that they made all of those fun elements that you could only really access in single player, and Salmon Run gives them a really interesting opportunity to take advantage of those mechanics that only Splatoon can do, and I'm glad that all of the Salmon Run maps have kind of taken advantage of that in a different way.
Yeah, I played it for a bit. I thought it was pretty fun. I thought it was unique, where you had to use the platforms to get to one side, and a lot of the enemies only spawned on one side than the other, and created more strategy in the game.
This is a personal gripe. I'm not gonna lie. I don't play Salmon Run. Like, it was cool in like the first couple months, and now I'm just like, I want more, honestly, from it. Like, something a little more.
Yeah, I haven't touched Salmon Run that much either.
And like them throwing a new map in for me is not enough to like actually play Salmon Run.
Right.
I mean, now that they have those, now segueing into the new drink tickets, I think I'm only going to play it so I can get those triple drink tickets. So they added quality of life changes as well to the game. Now they raised the cap to level 99. When you go to the menu in solo, you can change your gear without heading back to the complete main screen. And now they have 3 times the XP drink tickets.
Yeah. All things that needed to happen.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. We don't really need a comment. It's more just, yes, this all exists. It's great. I can finally get sea snails without playing Splatfest. I don't have to play it anymore.
They actually listened. Like, what?
Yeah, like they heard like all the pro players going like, we don't want to play Splatfest. Please take us out of this suffering. And they were like, yes, we will. And I guess the last thing I want to cover on it is the new mode, Clam Blitz, which is basically like basketball, football, dunking game.
Right. I posted a video in the Discord real quick. Take a look at it and play it for the people.
I don't know if I can get that going right now, but try and explain your logic to me.
Oh, the video?
Yes.
I mean, you play the video. There's nothing to explain. You just have to listen to it once.
Oh my god. Okay. Hold on.
It goes right with it.
Yep.
Okay.
Any luck?
Yeah, are you just playing the football theme?
It's the Monday night. It's the Monday night football theme.
Man.
Everyone knows that jingle.
He's a Canadian. What you talking about?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love football, man. I played football for 2 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we need a little bit more information to see if it's really going to be something that could be good in competitive.
That's the question.
Yeah,
That's the question.
If it's something that could actually be viable to play in competitive, rest in peace, 9.
He just died.
He'll come back in just a second here.
Yeah, there he is. But I think I think someone said, I think it's going to be awful in solo because it's going to take a lot of coordination.
Yeah.
And it's going to depend on if the placements are random, then I don't know how I feel about it, but if the placement of the clams is random, but if they're actually consistent as to where they're placed, I think it might be good because then you could actually have a game plan set out for where you want to go, what you want to take control of, that sort of thing.
But I think Nintendo's smart enough that they'll do it pre-positioned places. I think they understand that it's in the ranked area, you're actually going to get ranked on it, not like Turf War. So I think they've thought it out to be a competitive mode overall. I'm pretty excited for it. I love the idea of dunking things. That's just my thing. I just love anything that involves dunking.
Yeah, so I hate Rainmaker because I have to rely on teammates.
Oh my god,
And
come on,
this-
Kendall.
This equals me having to rely more on the solo queue trash. Sorry to say it like that.
Savage.
But I don't know, for me, I think it's gonna be cool. Possibly, honestly, my hopes is competitively, I think it might actually be cool working with the team and actually trying to get things done. Maybe it looks a little weird in my opinion. Maybe because of the fact I'm not used to it because of the modes that we've had for the past couple of years. It's not something traditional, just in I guess your competitive gaming for shooters. And I guess that also goes with in hand with Splatoon. But my whole thought process is I have to actually play with work together with people I can't talk to. There's just a lot of work that has to be that goes into that, and I feel like I'm going to break my controller off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I promise you.
I think it'll be a really good team competitive mode. I think in high level competition, it'll be really exciting to watch. But I think, like you said, in solo, it's going to be really frustrating. I don't think it's just because people are bad. I think it's a communication issue.
No, communication. I think it's actually going to be Rainmaker. For me, I think is bad because of communication. But I actually think that one's going to be a little bit more interesting.
Yeah. I think it's also going to be because you have to collect 10 of them to form the football that's actually going to break the shield. And that's the only way you can do it. So you're going to have somebody designated to be picking all those up so they can collect it and actually get the football. But then my question is, if that person gets splatted, can the other team steal that football and just go for theirs?
I think you can steal them. At least from what I saw in the mini clips, it looks like you can grab the other person's clams.
Yeah,
I was gonna say they're nuts,
clams, but can you take the football that actually breaks the shield?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Sack the football.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to
All
find out.
football, I am salivating over this mode. All of the football callouts that I perfected over my years of Madden.
I guess
will finally come to fruition.
I guess 9 will have to go in a classic BNS fashion and bring back all those Charles Barkley dunk faces and put a John Madden face now. So we get some John Madden faces every time someone throws a football.
Now what you see here is the team that scored won the game. John Madden. I'm actually excited for the mode. I agree it's going to be hell in solo queue, especially because I'm assuming we're all going to be C+ again. So it's going to be like when Splatoon came out and your C+ lobbies were filled with equal parts C+ and equal parts S+. But I think...
And that's S+ now.
I think that this is going to be a very... I agree with Bob. I hope that the clams have set spawns. Because if they're totally random, I think that ruins a lot of credibility as a competitive mode.
Mm-hmm.
But if it is, let's assume that it is set spawns and that it's fairly consistent. I think it's going to be a very, very fast-paced mode. And I personally, the thing I love most about Splatoon is how fast-paced it can get when everyone's in the middle. When it gets turtly and very slow, I'm a simple guy in spectating. You like to see a fast-paced game. That's why we play this. That's why we enjoy video games. It's fast-paced. It's fun. I think it has potential to be a very fast-paced mode. I think that once the football, if it is exactly called a football, gets put into play, everyone's going to go after that. But it looks like you can pass it like you can a bomb. So does that mean is someone else going to sneak out to the side, lateral it forward, toss it backward, whatever it ends up being? I think that it's unique enough. Because how long have we talked about, what if you could pass the Rainmaker? And we would always joke about that. Now we can. The whole point of this is to pass it back and forth. True. So I don't know. I hope it's good. I think that it has the potential to be something we haven't seen yet, but it's
personally for me, I don't trust Nintendo. I love them, but I don't trust them at the same time. I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like it's going to start off with RNG. They're just going to be randomly placed, all over the place. And personally, for me, that's just going to drive me all over the place. I think that's actually going to be the way that they might start it. If it's designated areas, I don't know. I always I'm not hope for the worst, but I look at it that things at the worst case scenario, and it's probably going to be the opposite of what you're talking about. That just seems too perfect. If it's in a set area.
I also want to know what button throws them, because are we going to lose our bomb?
I think that's the case. Yeah. That's what it looked like. Well, then again, maybe it's throw. I guess it looked like you threw it like you would a bomb. Is what it looked like to me in the trailer. But then I guess we get to keep our main weapon. That'd be strange. I hope it's no bomb.
Or maybe you can't go into squid form.
That's possible.
And then when you get the football, you have to throw it by pressing the L trigger to go into squid form. I don't know.
Or maybe holding down the bomb button is what triggers you throwing those.
Yeah, but then you'd have to throw the bomb always. You'd throw a bomb when you throw the football too. You know what I mean? You can't trigger it by holding it longer. So you'd be throwing a bomb and a football? They wouldn't want you to do that.
I don't know.
Yeah. I guess we'll find out in mid-December.
Right.
It's true.
Okay, on to the next thing really quickly. So, we had a balance update along with this where a couple of things were changed. I'm not going to go through all of them. If people want to know what happened, you guys can check out the patch notes on Nintendo's website and look through every single detail of every single thing that was changed. But I want to go through some of the bigger things or the things that caught your guys' eye overall. I don't know if someone wants to start with things that they noticed so far from the patch updates that's genuinely affected them in game.
I think the big one that we're all probably thinking about and going to say is going from 1.5 seconds to 1 second to recharge your health. I think that's the one that's the biggest update they've made in Splatoon in a long time. That has implications for every weapon, every map, every mode. I think it's a good change, though. I like it a lot, personally.
I agree, because I feel like I would be running away from a person for forever, and I would still die in one more shot, even though by that time I felt like I should have healed. So,
yeah, I think it was also in a way it's kind of a nerf to Stingray. Because now you can recover after 1 second. So if there is someone who's chasing you, you might be able to run out for a second, recover a little bit of health, so that you get an extra hit on, so you don't die to the Stingray right away. I've noticed myself when I've been playing Stingray, I haven't been getting as many kills. I used to get 3 kills with one Stingray, no problem. Now I seem to get 1 kill consistently, and then I can't seem to get a second one because the frame's been reduced, and also I feel like people are recovering.
Yeah. I think it was also kind of a nerf to blasters and sloshers too, because if you don't land that second hit with a range blaster or any of the ones that are not rapid or rapid pro, and you don't land that fast enough, then that person's going to recover just enough health to survive that second blast.
Burst bombs too. It helps with those a lot.
That's true, yeah.
Didn't they also, including that, didn't they also say the jump was increased on Ink?
Yeah, with Ink or your Ink resistance, the standard Ink resistance, you can jump higher now.
Yeah, so they basically buffed, you basically have Ink resistance for free now. which is interesting.
By the way, I don't know about that Stingray nerf, man. What you talking about? I still getting literally pounded by it every single time. I mean, the first mode I came back into was Tower Control. So
okay, I'm not trying to say it's way better. I'm not saying it's not broken. I'm saying it's better.
I don't know, man.
There's a difference between saying it's better and it's still broken. Yeah, so I guess another thing that I want to bring up is Tri-Slosher got buffed again. And Tenta Tech, Splattershot got buffed again. Basically back to the original. What's up with that? How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, the range on Tri-Slosher didn't get buffed again. The damage went back to what it was, but the range isn't, and the hitboxes aren't quite as wild as they were. From what I understand, I know that the range got a little bit nerfed, right? The range and the damage got
9%, I believe.
Right, but then now the damage is back, but the range isn't there. So I guess it's all right, especially because now burst bombs and ink armor are nerfed. So I'm not as worried about the Tri-Slosher, but I'm that inkjet, man. That's what's getting me. Like the
velocity of the shots coming at you so quickly is just so crazy.
Yeah. I thought Inkjet's a little bit cooler now to play. I don't think it's inherently like broken or like overpowered, but I think it's if you're a good player, it's a lot better. If you're a bad player, it's not good for you. I guess speaking of velocity though, Jet Squelcher got a velocity buff. I know in like competitive it won't change too much, but I've been playing around with it recently with that Stingray and Burst Bomb kit. And I found it really good. Like, it's now pretty good in close range situations, too. Where originally I felt like Jet Squelcher was really bad. Now I feel like I can even defend myself against, like, a splatter shot every once in a while.
Yeah.
The Toxic Mist buff, that one's kind of exciting. For me, personally, I played the Splash-O-Matic back at E3 because that was there. And I remember thinking, wow, these Toxic Mists are really, really fun. And Hitzel and I had like a long conversation about Toxic Mist. And how we thought it could be really good because of the way that it was. And then we got the game, and it was unrealistic to use because, you know, you'd throw one, you'd wait 2 seconds, then you could throw another, and by that time, the first one would be gone. So now that Toxic Mist is back out, I think the Toxic Mist, people will sleep on it for a little bit, but I think if it gets on a main weapon that's really good, I think people will start to figure out Toxic Mist and how, like, actually, I won't say devastating, but how annoying it can be and how situationally it can be great. I feel the same as I do about Bubble Blower, which is that it's not on enough weapons for people to really experiment with, but situationally it can be great. I think the same thing's going to happen to Toxic Mist as it comes out for more weapons.
Yeah. I think bubbles are kind of crazy. It just, as long as you use them properly, but they require team coordination.
You mean ballers?
Definitely.
Sorry?
Bubbles, like the special, the bubble.
Yeah, the bubble.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
You're good. Yeah, because like even I know it goes way back to Squidstorm, but like there was a game when we were facing you guys.
Way to rub salt in the wound on this one.
And you guys pushed it all the way to 5 on a humpback tower, and then we brought it back by throwing bubbles right over that little bump, and I just kind of like stood inside the bubble and kept like hitting it and just sloshing it until it stayed, and we ended up bringing that back just because of being able to stay inside that bubble.
Yeah. No, I think it has some uses. I think not popping them really helps sometimes too, like what you were talking about. Sometimes just using them as defense is like a great strategy.
Putting them in front of like the tower sometimes actually can help out a lot.
It is so annoying, especially when I play weapons like nozzles and they don't kill objects at all. Like try pop a Rainmaker with a nozzle, try pop bubbles with a nozzle. It's literally impossible. Like I just run away from everything because there's just no point in even trying. But yeah, I guess the last thing I want to cover on the balance patch is the most interesting change, the tent umbrella. Is it viable? just the sigh of is it viable? Kendall, I feel like you have some thoughts on this.
Not really thoughts. I mean, I think that it comes down to like I have only played it, like seen it. I haven't played it. I played it like maybe 1 or 2 times, and I'm just like, yo, this thing absolutely terrible. But I think that like maybe if like certain situations, if you're understanding how to do it with your team, I do it in solo queue, and then anybody that tries to do anything new in a comp situation for like I guess your team to just like get the hell out of here. There's like no way that we're using that. So I mean, right now like with the deploying and like maybe like for like pushes for obviously like Rainmaker it might be a little better. Maybe getting in front of the tower, but I think it has to give more time and see what it can do. But I haven't seen anything that crazy out of it yet.
Have any of you played it?
Once.
Exactly.
Thoughts?
I mean, I'll just echo what Kendall said. It's situational. I mean, you can draw up situations all day about how awesome it would be to have that Brella running down a nice thin pathway as the Rainmaker comes behind it, or standing on top of the tower and letting 2 of your teammates jump in the middle of a push. But ultimately, I just haven't seen it be used at a high level consistently. And weapons nowadays at the top level, they have to be able to contribute all the time. They can't just be situational. So when I see it, I'll believe it. I acknowledge that it can happen because there's always there's always a low tier god. There always is. It's going to happen eventually. It's going to be awesome when it does. I haven't seen it yet though, so chalk me up as a non-believer for now.
Kind of the same with dualies. Like I'd like to see somebody really, really put in the time on the dualies to bring them to a high level. If they can indeed be played at a high level. But I think Tenebrella just it shoots a little bit too slowly, and the time in between shots, especially if you're not pulling out the Brella, it just leaves you way too wide open.
Yeah. I played it a couple of games to test it out in Rainmaker actually on Kelp Dome. I thought it had uses for pushing. Like you can literally clear out an entire section of Kelp Dome by popping it out. But I feel like the strategy is way different from other Brellas. Like with a normal Brella, you kind of shoot and then the shield pops and you use it for yourself or your teammates kind of around you. Tenebrella is like you shoot it, it pops off instantly. Like there's no time for you to actually defend yourself holding it. It just kind of flies off right away. Then you have a 6-second cooldown. And I think the intention is just to constantly pop that shield and make it go forward to stop an advance in a certain area. I think it's meant to be played as like a denier of a side, so like a flank doesn't happen and your team has room. I think a team will figure out how to use it. I think there is a use to having it in a team comp. I think in solo it's absolutely terrible, but
yeah.
I think in teams though, I think like I don't think STDX will do it, but I think a team like an STDX can find a way to make it really useful, because you can really deny a whole section off of someone coming towards you with it. Like you force people to engage you.
I mean, I guess I kind of like if you're like looking at area denial. I mean, I feel like you still would go with like maybe like a sniper or like a splatling if you're going to do that. I mean, at this point, I feel like that's way too situational to wait just for like you to pop your Tenebrella and be like, all right, everybody come behind it and let's go. Like,
yeah, I agree with that. But I think like if you had it on a Rainmaker in a specific map, it might be like a pocket pick that you can do. I think Kelp Dome's one of the uses for it, where it's like you go onto their tree area and you push forward with the Rainmaker. You only have to focus on what's beside you and behind you, at least for like 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
We just need that one person to come up and like complain about why it's valuable, and then maybe then we'll see it. Because
I mean, you need to have good skill. I'll let you know right now. Like you have to have really good aim with that thing, because you can't miss. If you miss, you die. That's literally it. But I do see the use of it. So, all right. With that, I guess we'll go on to a viewer question. I'm not going to go through too many. Thanks for everyone who submitted some questions. I'll try and get through more, but we're kind of going a little bit over time here. So I'm going to bring like 1 or 2 questions. I'm going to bring up the one that I thought was the most relevant to all of us here, because we all kind of run tournaments and we all help out with things. I would say more. Well, maybe Bob. Bob, you're like really competitive, and I know that you just joined a team, Kendall. But I feel like we all play an organizational role more than players a lot of the time. So we have something from Super Smiley Game, or Super Smiley. He watches all the time, so thank you for the question. After the game has been out for a while now, are you still hopeful for a bigger Splatoon esport future, or how are you all feeling about the game?
It's a pretty complicated question.
I mean, I guess in simple terms is, I guess I'll try and rephrase it for everyone is, how do you feel about Splatoon esports now, and where do you think it'll be in a year from now?
I think it's having steady growth now. Like it's definitely slow, but I'm seeing growth with it and seeing the interest more and more. I think we need to be a lot more welcoming and a lot more. We also, of course, we need to push content. Like that needs to start happening. I think before we can, really start drawing in some serious people. Go ahead.
Personally, actually, I like. I was going to say actually the content creators, because I mean, I'm not going to call out and say anything because I'm not one of the people doing it. But personally, for me, I think that we need more lands. Honestly, I think that we need also more locals. I mean, they're popping up, but I think like reaching out to people and like actually getting more of like obviously, if you want to call it casuals, just trying to get them in and trying to see like what's going on. Because like as people like even like bringing people into like as before plugging in like Long Island Splat and like getting people to see before even that, like I went to the New York Nintendo tournament and there were more casuals that just got to see like people play, and even like people coming up to me and I'm just like I'm trash guys like compared, and we did lose to Power at the end of the day, but like people seeing actual people that are like, yo, you guys play this game at a higher level, it brought them to seeing like how this game could be played, and it was like even people at the Nintendo world were just hype about it. So for me personally, I think that just having more events where people can actually come out and see what's going on in the scene, I think that actually can drive and bring more people into it personally.
I'll go ahead and echo kind of what both of you said actually, so thank you for giving me the legs to stand on here. I think content and video content especially will be the single most important thing, because there are a lot of people who play Splatoon casually, we'll use that word, who don't play it competitively but still play the game a lot. And I know that we have places, I think the Splatoon community has two big flaws with the way that it's set up, and I know a lot of people have said this, but the two main places it lives on are Twitter and Discord. Twitter is not a good place for discussion about the game. Twitter is not a good place for discussion, period. Even with 280 characters, it's not a great place to facilitate discussion. And Discord, if you're not in, you're not in.
Yep.
So I think video, like the video like this right here, once this goes up on the internet and on YouTube, things that people can listen to and learn about these things and just hear discussion about the game from people who play it and put faces behind these names and just see that it's a tight-knit community, but it doesn't live behind this wall. It exists out there further on. I mean, you know, dude gets, what, 20, 30,000 views on all of his videos? And I mean, he's just putting it out there, but that he's also put out 1,000 videos. So I feel like we need to, as a community, continue to put out content there and have more resources for those players who are newer or trying to learn and trying to grow. I know for me personally, if I hadn't gone to Squidstorm and actually met some of the people and kind of learned who they were, I wouldn't be here. I only went because it was in Chicago. So I think that lands, like you said, are more important than we're giving them credit for, because you can reach out and you can get people to come in and you can just hang out and put faces. And I mean, we had a great time at Paint Lewis. There were some people there who didn't play a whole lot, and there were people there who played a lot, but it was a great time. So I really do think that content resources for people who are looking to become competitive or teams who are starting out. I mean, even if it's just 4 friends who play League who think maybe we want to be a team, we need to have resources in place to help teach them and learn that aren't just answering questions on Discord, because someone's not going to be there, or they don't want to scroll through walls of text. Like, it's got to be easy. It's got to be easy, or we're not going to be able to get people to take that next step. And video, I think, is the easiest way. And I know I'm not involved in a lot of content creation. I hope to change that in 2018, but I think that's where it's got to start if we want to get any bigger.
I am actually going to probably disagree with everyone. I have a pretty positive outlook on how we will expand. Maybe there's things that I might know or not know. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty positive about the scene overall. And I think that content creation is not a huge part. And what I mean by that is like, I think having like a dude as a YouTuber is cool. Like he's one of the unique people who has a lot of subscribers, but I don't think that is the key to us becoming successful. Like, I don't look at Mango and watch his tutorials on what he does. I don't really care how he does it. I just want to watch him play. I want to see him be the best. You know what I mean? As a casual audience, sometimes I don't want to be competitive. Sometimes I just want to watch the best players play. You know what I mean? I think what'll drive Splatoon to become a bigger thing is really getting personality into it. I think a lot of teams are stale right now in terms of their personality, and they don't show it in any way. Like, you can name Team Olive, and Team Olive streams all the time, and they're and you know their personality, you know what type of people they are. You like STDX because they're like the bad boys that are how do you say, they only play for money, and they're like they're like, we're the best. Like, that's a personality that you want. You want a Fuzzy who's like stubborn and thinks he's great at the game. You want really friendly people. You want all these different types of personalities coming out. And it's not calling shots. I think that's the best parts of them. Like, I think that's why people like watching them, so that's how I feel. I think the personalities need to grow so we can create stars who people want to watch and become invested in their storyline. I think another big thing is getting actual sponsor support beyond just like the local scene. I know that we're talking about like, oh, we got the local, we got to go grassroots, but at some point we have to start expanding on those things and start getting like money into it and starting investing in sponsors and stuff. But just from how things have been looking so far, from the success of Squidstorm and from how we're progressing and other things that are opening up, I'm pretty hopeful about how we're going to be in 1 year. Like, I think in 1 year, you're going to see a pretty large growth compared to what we have now.
I think that Genesis is going to be a big opportunity. It's funny, my last 3 lands, one I went to as a competitor, one I went to as a commentator, and this one I'm going to as a networking agent. I really want to try to meet as many people as I can from outside the community and try to get them focused on Splatoon, or at least get more eyes on Splatoon, or just like you said, just try to meet people who can put us in a position where we get more outside eyes on us, because the people who love Splatoon. We got to start dipping outside of that little honey hole and see what we can find.
Yeah. I think we can go on this for a long time, but I think we'll stop it there. I think we kind of got our brief comments out, and I think I might leave this for another podcast where we literally just talk about the scene as a whole and where we think we're gonna go, what do we need, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think that's it for the show. Thanks everyone for tuning in, at least for the first one. We're planning to do this every week and have a couple of pieces come out and see how everyone feels. And regarding content, actually, just as another segue, we have our early beta test of our website out right now, guys. If you guys want to go to InkTV.media, we have 5 articles listed. Walkman and Hermes posted some articles. You can read some bios about us, like brief little blurbs, and a couple of articles about STDX, and we had an interview with Gray, and we talk about some weapons. If you guys are interested, just take a look at it. InkTV.media. Like I said, it's rough. It's just to kind of show you the articles we've been working on, but if you guys want to take a look at that, go for it. We want to try and get more articles out for you guys. And also another point is, as we introduce everyone out, you guys can all promo your stuff promo your content. I'll leave Kendall last because I'm going to promote your event with a nice big poster at the end for you. So,
Thank you.
so 9, plug your stuff. Tell us where we can find you.
Yeah, sure. 9 Whole Grains on Twitter. That's really all I'm at right now. I want to start streaming at some point when I get a little more free time. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Do some scrim analysis, some match analysis. I think that's what my niche is going to be. But yeah, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter, Discord, if you have any questions about anything really. I'm always up to chat, and catch you the next tournament that I commentate.
Bob?
Yeah, I'm Bob the Hobo is cool on most things. Twitter doesn't like how long my name is, so it's Bob the Hobo is cool. It just left off the L because we don't take L's here. But yeah, I mean, if anybody has any questions or anything like that, or if you're interested even in getting into Young Ink, just contact me. I'm on Discord. I'm on Twitter. Just shoot me a message. I'm more than happy to talk as soon as I get the chance.
And as an addendum to that, we are streaming Young Ink this Saturday. All young teams, you can watch them. Watch some new fostering growth of our young squids become pro players through the hands of Bob himself.
Yeah. It's really exciting because they get after the event, the winners of the 2 separate brackets that we have set up actually get 5 coaching sessions now with a coach from the community who has willingly donated that time to help out, and it's really awesome to see that.
Who's the coach this time around?
We've got Blue Takanego from Tomo, actually, that's going to be helping out with us.
And I know last time we had Ladius from Australia.
Yep, Ladius has been helping out as well.
All right, and Kendall, close it out. I'll put the video there for you.
So yeah, you can find me on Twitter, _guy Negus, and I'm also on Twitch under my_Negus. And if you want to understand the actual meaning of that name, you can ask me there. But basically, I'm going to plug in Long Island Splat. We're having it on December 16th. If you remember back when EGTV actually did the stream for it back in September. It's going to be a great event. If you remember, we had like Fuzzy and Walkie commentating. We even had teams with Power, Dreas from DB. Hitzel came out. DJ Prodigy, people are part of my team. Kerry, part of my team also. It's going to be a great event. We're looking to make it even bigger and make it a staple for New York, honestly. So it's December 16th in Deer Park, Long Island, and it should be a great time, honestly. EGTV is streaming it again, and we hope to get more people to sign up, honestly. So yeah.
Sounds good. So I guess that closes us out. I'll put on
also,
some music.
Spoon, come through.
I'll let you know,
Spoon,
man.
come.
I'll let you know. We'll close this out. Have a good night, everyone, and I'll post the promo while we listen to music. So later, guys.
See y'all.